Well, that was the scene in the House of Representatives Tuesday night, prompting not just the ejection of longtime Texas Democrat Al Green during President Trump's speech, but now a formal rebuke by the majority of his colleagues. The vote to censure Green coming as Democrats are increasingly divided on how to best voice their frustration and anger in a way that gets results and doesn't alienate the voters they'll need to win back the House and Senate come midterms. NewsNation's Joe Khalil live for us there on Capitol Hill. And Joe, you have some new reaction from Green himself after this morning's vote. What is he saying?
Yeah, before we get into the actual vote itself, we did just get a chance to catch up with Congressman Green to hear in his own words his explanation for what he did Tuesday night, standing up, looking at President Trump and yelling about Medicaid. This is what he said here, and then we'll pick it up on the other side, Nichole.
Because it is important for some of us to take a stand for people who don't have the health insurance we have. I've got the best health insurance in the world. If something happens to me right now, there's a physician waiting to attend. Poor people don't have that. I'm standing up for those people who can't be here to stand for themselves.
Okay, so you heard it right there from him. Now, the vote this morning was obviously pushed by Republicans, the Republican majority in the House, and it was introduced by them. But interestingly, 10 Democrats joined Republicans in this resolution here, this censure, which is not something that comes with consequences, Nichole, but it is, for the record and for history, a formal rebuke, essentially, of Congressman Green for his actions. It is a statement that the House says we disapprove of what you did. So it was interesting that 10 Democrats joined along with Republicans on that. And another Democrat, Shamari Figures, voted present. Actually, also Al Green himself voted present, interestingly, on that resolution. So moving forward now, there are a lot of questions about sort of what this means for the Democratic Party. There were some people that approved of this. There were some that were opposed to it. We talked to a lot of Democrats as they left today, one of them being Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. And we asked her what she felt about this whole episode. This is what she told us here in part. Take a listen.
Listen, I think that the American people are starting to realize that they are nothing but a bunch of phonies and frauds. They have decided their official guidance is don't go back to your districts, don't conduct any town halls. Now, how are you saying that you're for the people? How are you saying America first? How are you saying that you're making America great again? And then you don't want to back up your policies.
Marnie, at the end of that vote, there was a group of Democrats that began actually singing "We Shall Overcome" on the House floor. There was also a pretty heated back and forth between some Republicans and some Democrats. This was the last vote of the week. So after that vote, we expected everybody to leave the chamber. But obviously, again, that's not what happened. It was an unusually tense scene following that vote to condemn Congressman Green.
All right, so Joe, we're seeing, back and forth. We're seeing what looks like a lot of chaos. Does this whole episode give us any clues into the state of the Democratic Party right now?
We were asking that question because you do have a lot of Democratic members here. Many of them sort of silently said, we didn't approve of what Congressman Green did, but it didn't rise to the level that he should be censured. You had some other Democrats that fully approved of what he was doing. And I think that kind of split is also playing out among Democratic base voters as well, many of whom have been vocal since President Trump's second term started that they want to see their elected representatives do more things like Congressman Green. At the same time, you have others, and including members, that said they felt like all of the protests that happened in the chamber was in a way sort of demeaning and undermined the event and didn't reflect well on the party. So there is that split still going on as voters are continuing to look for sort of voices within the party and leaders within the party. That's an ongoing debate that we imagine is going to continue to play out. And this episode with Congressman Green was really just a manifestation of that debate, Nichole.
All right. Joe Khalil live for us there in Washington. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.